Federal prosecutors charged Keith Freeman with bankruptcy fraud back in April, but that didn't stop Tiffany Henyard from keeping him on the payroll in both Dolton and Thornton Township. Freeman denied in an afternoon text message to me that he had been fired from the township job, but we have the records that show he was, and is raising speculation about his role in the ongoing federal investigation into Henyard's leadership.
Let's be smarter than that. This is not just the price is right.
Keith Freeman has been a top aide and trusted advisor to Tiffany Henyard in Dolton and Thornton Township for a few years now, even running interference when we've raised questions about Henyard's spending.
How come you don't respond to my emails?
There you go. There you go.
Huh?
There you go. That's all you're getting from me. That's all you're getting from me today.
But lately, Freeman has been feeling the heat from federal prosecutors. They charged him with lying about and covering up his income from Dolton in what some saw as a play to push him to cooperate with the FBI's investigation into Henyard. Back then, trustees said they hoped it was the beginning of the end of Henyard's reign.
Well, that's what I want to say. Nobody is untouchable. So if this is just the first domino to all of them falling, let it happen.
Several days later.
More drama in Dolton. Credit card transactions amounting to thousands of dollars without explanation and millions more owed to vendors.
A bombshell report highlights just how much financial trouble the village of Dolton is really in. Our Casey Cronus is live tonight with details. Casey.
Don and Scott, community members' jaws dropped during tonight's presentation. The report was put together by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was hired by village trustees in April as an independent investigator. They sought her out to get to the bottom of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's alleged misuse of village funds.
My reaction was I am devastated. I am devastated that this woman came in to our town and spent all of our tax money. We have senior citizens that can't even afford basic necessities.
I suspected it all along. Tiffany needs to be locked up. She needs to be made an example out of, that she cannot go around using our money and spending it however she wants to spend it, like the job come with a cash register.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about ghetto super mayor Tiffany Henyard, who has gone full Kamala Harris. What do I mean by that? Well, she's gone missing, right? That seems to be the go-to move for liberal black women who don't want to face accountability and questions from the media about their corruption, okay? Because Kamala Harris is currently hiding from the media. And ghetto super mayor Tiffany Henyard from Dolton, Illinois, aka Wakanda, USA, seems to be taking a page out of her playbook, okay? Because she is under FBI investigation for what appears to be mismanagement of the city's funds, okay? Whether that be Dolton, which is the town that she is mayor of, or the township of Thornton, which she is the supervisor for a broader community, okay? She is basically bankrupting the community that she is supposed to be in charge of, okay? I mean, she is getting rich off taxpayer dime to the point where the city is having troubles operating financially. There are layoffs happening left and right because the city can't afford to operate, okay? So again, they have to lay off people. People are being fired, right? Because the city is going broke, right? There's no money left, okay? And the dominoes are falling all around Tiffany Henyard, including one of her top henchmen who allegedly has turned into a whistleblower, Mr. Keith Freeman, who I believe is the brains behind all the corruption that the super mayor allegedly is participating in. This guy was fired, pseudo-fired from the city just a few days ago. And now that is under question because the mayor is so stupid that she doesn't realize that she's actually costing the town more money by firing this guy in retaliation for him becoming a whistleblower for the feds, because he's facing charges of bankruptcy fraud, and it seems like he's going to rat on Tiffany Henyard. So Tiffany Henyard tried to get rid of one of the rats, and that may backfire on the village. So now the village is saying, no, you can't fire him because that's just going to cost us more money. It is a complete and total shit show.
Still developing tonight, a double-header meeting in the village of Dolton.
Trustees arranged a special meeting with an agenda of items they say their embattled mayor has not been taken care of. WGN's Jenna Barnes is live in Dolton again tonight with the latest. Jenna?
Ray and Micah, the Board of Trustees did approve some layoffs when they came back from closed session, as they say Dolton is facing a financial crisis.
It's unfortunate, but we have to make these tough decisions so that we can make payroll. It's politics, which is not, it's politics.
The vote for layoffs was 4-1, and it includes placing the deputy police chief, Louis Lacey, on administrative leave. The trustees blame Mayor Tiffany Henyard for overspending and mismanagement, and she accuses them of political retaliation. Tonight, the trustees also approved a credit card spending freeze, and they're considering returning the 4 unapproved SUVs that are part of Henyard's security detail. They say have cost the village $250,000 so far. They're also considering selling a building the village owns that has a police department sign on it, but it's never actually been converted to a police department.
There's no more money. Anything we can sell, we need to sell it. If you want to get outside, we'll sell you too. Right now,
Trustee, that was
right now, you don't tell me what's out of order and what's not in order. We're not doing that today.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard's top aide, Keith Freeman, was not at tonight's meeting, but Henyard announced tonight he is fired. She already fired him from the other government she runs, Thornton Township. Freeman has pleaded not guilty to a bankruptcy fraud charge, but tonight the trustees were trying to block his termination. They believe he's now a whistleblower, and firing a whistleblower could set them up for a lawsuit they simply cannot afford. There will be more news coming out of Dolton this week. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is expected to present some of her financial findings in her investigation into Henyard on Thursday. So much more to come there.
Yeah, so that brings us to the highly anticipated meeting that is being led by disgraced former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who's also very corrupt. And I guess that the reasoning and logic behind hiring Lori Lightfoot to investigate Tiffany Henyard is that game recognized game, right? Lori Lightfoot was corrupt, so she definitely will be able to recognize the corruption from Tiffany Henyard. And boy, I say, Lori Lightfoot definitely exposed Tiffany Henyard and the financial mismanagement that is happening in this town. And I want to go ahead and react to it because nobody really should be surprised that the truth is finally coming out. And it shows that Tiffany Henyard is the one that has kind of been lying this whole time. And yeah, she's definitely the bad guy in this situation.
The village of Dolton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is accused of misusing money, and today she's nowhere to be found.
Tara Molina spent the day in Dolton following the investigation into Henyard's spending. Tara?
Jim and Marie, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is the special investigator in this case. And like we first told you last night, not only did she find the village of Dolton is in significant debt, but she also found the village's credit card spending is out of control. Mayor Tiffany Henyard didn't respond to any of my requests today, and I'm told she's not in the building. No response to repeated interview requests. I tried to track down Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard in person today. Village employees told me she wasn't in the office.
Now, who does this sound like? Again, she is going full Kamala Harris, right? Tiffany Henyard probably has been watching Kamala Harris, who is also, again, a fellow black woman, right? So-called woman of color, allegedly, okay? She said, I'm going to do what Kamala's doing. I'm going to run away from the media. I'm not going to answer any questions. Or who knows? Honestly, Tiffany Henyard was doing this before Kamala was doing it, right? So maybe Kamala took a page out of Tiffany Henyard's playbook and decided, hey, I'm not going to talk to the media, right? Because she really hasn't been talking to the media at all for the last year or so. So I don't know. Maybe Kamala picked that up from Tiffany Henyard. I'm not entirely sure, okay? But yeah, this seems to be commonplace among so-called liberal women of color who are in positions of power. They are afraid of accountability, okay? They're scared to death.
And didn't say when she would be.
a day after this. A packed community meeting Thursday night, outburst after outburst. Following Special Investigator Lori Lightfoot's limited examination of Dolton's finances. Her report revealing as of May 31st, the village's general fund had a negative balance of $3.65 million. Lightfoot originally hired by trustees, concerned about spending, like self-promoting, taxpayer-funded billboards, ads, plus spending on lavish dinners and trips.
Why are we going to these places? What's happening here?
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood sat down with the CBS News Chicago investigators in February, telling us then trustees were denied requested bank statements.
You're having the same reaction that we did when we saw it.
With credit card spending out of control.
Receipts for credit card purchases are rarely provided.
Lightfoot further uncovering spending that doesn't add up. The report shows $40,000 spent on Amazon purchases in one day.
Wow.
Money that's unaccounted for.
These are somebody using one of the credit cards.
Another question lingering here, money spent on police overtime, with 2 officers racking up 6 figures in pure OT, $108,000 and $114,000. The deputy chief, just fired here last week, Lewis Lacey, paid $96,000 in overtime.
The village has been unable to pay all of its monthly expenditures with available cash balance.
Yeah, so it seems like to me it is obvious that the so-called leaders of this city have been using taxpayer funds and the credit of the town in order to enrich themselves, right? So they basically have been getting rich off of taxpayer dollars while at the same time not doing their jobs, which is kind of what led to all of the conflict, is that these people weren't doing their jobs in the first place. Okay, they were terrible. Okay, what they were doing. I mean, there were public projects that just weren't getting done. Okay, while Tiffany Henyard is out here living a lavish life in what seems to be, to me, a person getting their reparations, right? Because that's what it sounds like. Tiffany Henyard went and stole her reparations, right? And she spent it just like the average person would spend it if they got reparations, right? Just spend it all, okay? $40,000 on Amazon in a day? Again, what did you order from Amazon that cost $40,000? These people out here buying expensive cars, vehicles, right? The police chief is over here, racking up overtime that he probably didn't actually do. He probably wasn't on duty, right? You got Tiffany Henyard walking around with a ton of security while the police are struggling, okay, to do their jobs because they don't have enough people. Just all around financial disaster. Okay. You cannot trust people like this with money, bro. You really cannot. Okay. Because you already know Tiffany Henyard grew up in the hood. She grew up in the ghetto. And when these ghetto hood people get some money, right? Like in this case, this woman got access to millions of taxpayer dollars. They just spend it all because they have no clue whatsoever how to manage money. There's no doubt in my mind. Tiffany Henyard wasn't smart and used all that extra money she was paying herself, because remember, her salary is like $200,000+. I think she gets paid more than the governor of Illinois, right? She's getting paid a ton of money. I guarantee you, she's not putting that in retirement. She's not investing. She's not doing smart things with the money. She's probably blowing it, right? So she's blowing the town's money. And then when she pays herself with the town's money, she's probably blowing that as well, okay? So, it's just... It's funny to me because this is what happens when you vote for people based off the color of their skin, identity politics, because that is what this woman ran on, right? The story about Tiffany Henyard when she got elected was that, she's the first black woman mayor, because they had a long history of having white people or white mayors or whatever. So now they're like, we made history. Now, what did you get for making history? The town has went broke. Same thing going to happen if this country elects Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Okay. Kamala Harris, a woman of color. This is great. This is awesome. And they're going to bankrupt the country. That's what they're going to do. Okay. Kamala Harris, during the pandemic, she wanted to spend more than the normal Democrats wanted to spend. The progressives wanted to spend 4, 5, in some cases, $10 trillion. This is what they wanted to do, because they don't understand how money works. They don't understand how finances work. They don't understand a budget. They don't. So to me, I'm not surprised when you elect somebody based off identity politics, okay, that they run the city's finances into the ground because, again, they weren't qualified to be managing money like this in the first place.
I reached all of the village's trustees in reporting this story today. As of right now, I have not heard back from one of them. Of course, we also haven't heard back from Mayor Tiffany Henyard. If any of that changes, we'll update the story that's up on our website right now, where you can find all of our coverage of these issues here in Dolton. Reporting live in Dolton this afternoon, I'm Tara Molina, CBS News, Chicago.
But she's not going to answer any questions, right? I think she's going full Kamala Harris, okay? Or who knows? Again, Kamala probably stole a page out of Tiffany Henyard's playbook. But regardless, again, I just want people to understand, this is what you get when you vote for people based off things that have nothing to do with qualifications, experience, competence. This is what happens when you get on the soul sister train, the support black women, vote blue no matter who train. This is what it leads to. It leads to chaos and destruction. And that's exactly what's happening in the township of Thornton and the city of Dolton, because these people elected somebody without actually really considering, is this person qualified? Should they be doing the job? Why am I voting for this person? And, you know, hey, I'm glad that this story has gotten as big as it is, because I want it to be an example that people look to when they are, again, thinking about voting for somebody based off identity politics. And coming up in this national election, we have one side of the aisle running strictly off of identity politics. And there's no doubt in my mind, if this country chooses to put Kamala Harris in office, this country is going to end up just like Dolton. It really will. Okay. That's what is going to happen. Okay. You cannot continue to put these people in positions of power when they are not qualified to hold the offices that we are electing them into. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.